So there we go. This morning, I wanted to learn something new. So I started practicing with Screencastify. And so I was also lesson planning and recreating a pear deck. And so this is the pear deck that I had to work with. So I was looking at it and I'm trying to figure out, well, actually, it's not even a pear deck, it's just a Google slide. Okay, so I was trying to figure out the best way to make it visually appealing to my students, give them a welcome message, and show them what to do. So let me move as I'm practicing Screencastify, I'm going to move my video and kind of change it a little bit so I can see myself a little better. All right. Okay, so I was taking a look at this and I was like, okay, so they have to make a text box and then type in a text box. Some of the students probably don't even know how to find the text box, but I've taught my students how to use PearDeck. So what I did is I decided to create a Google slide PearDeck, but I wanted to make sure, see, where did my video go? Did it change? If I do that, I don't even know if you still see the screen. That's weird. Okay, so I'm still trying to figure out the Screencastify. So I guess because I put it on this screen, when I flip to the other screen, you don't see that. So let me see if I can copy the link and put it in there, and then that way you can see it. Let's see here. Does that keep my Screencastify going? Ah, it does. Okay, so still learning Screencastify. This is my first attempt to actually make a video that I could show somebody. Okay, so this is my slide that I was making this morning. So doing this right here, this Good Morning World Geography, I used to just do text boxes, right? And so that's how I'd enter text. I did that all the time. That's my baby in the background. She just woke up. Okay, so she may join us here in a second. All right, so instead, I'm trying to be creative. You see, that's what I'm working on this week. And I decided to learn how to make my Google Slides, which I turn into pear decks, even more visually appealing. So what I did and how you get World Geography or Good Morning World Geography is you just basically you insert a word art like that, and as soon as you click word art, you type whatever. So I'll just type hi, and see, it pops up like hi. And then you can change the way that it looks by going to right up here, your fonts. You can change whatever style of font. So that's what I do, and I made it more visually appealing. Plus, I learned how to use Bitmojis, and oh my goodness, I totally love them. Let me move my video so you can see all of that. I'll put it over here. Okay, so then I still use text boxes, but I put that in there as well. But I turn this into a pear deck, and you can do that easily by making sure that you have the add-on pear deck. If you don't have the add-on pear deck in your Google Slides, you'll never be able to do this. Okay, so once you add that, eventually this little guy pops up here, and it's easy to click on, and then it takes you. Why is my screen flashing? That's weird. Okay, I'm going to move it back over here. Maybe it's my light source. Okay, so PearDeck up here, wait, let me do the mouse. I learned how to do this too with Screencastify, which is, there we go. Okay, so here, what you do to add a student response is you just click on the text right here, and then it adds text to your slide. Okay, so sorry that my video is flashing. I can cut video off for a second, and then that way you can focus more on just my voice and not my flashy video. Okay, so Good Morning World Geography. I added my Bitmoji. Now more than ever, I hope you realize world geography is important. And I think that is such the case right now, what we're going through. So I added that, and I wanted to, find out how they're doing. So I added that question, and that's what they're going to answer by their response. So then my next slide, I wanted to make sure that, because some of the kids are clicking on my pear decks in Google Classroom, but they're not leaving me a Flipgrid video. And I love Flipgrid, but sometimes kids aren't used to talking in front of the camera yet. So I wanted to make sure that they know they can come see me on Thursday or Friday, and I've added them on Google Calendar, so it automatically goes to their Google Calendar. But if they still have questions like how to find me, I added that, and then I also added text response so they can respond here. So getting back to adding stuff about East Asia. So I started with this interactive slide. I added this little GIF over here, some pictures, and then I took what I found online for Asia, and instead I turned it into, and what this is awesome with PearDeck, into a draw. So now they can draw on it. They don't have to add a text box. My students already know how to use PearDeck because I've been using PearDeck for years, at least a couple of years, maybe 3. I don't know. It's been a while. I used to use Nearpod, but anyways, never mind. Okay, so you can change it to draw right here, and then the students can draw. Well, I don't want them to have to write the whole word. That's going to take too much time. That's time consuming. My whole thing is save time. If you save time, you can be more creative. That is something that you learn in world geography. The people that waste so much time doing something, they're not getting a whole lot done. Okay, so I'm all about saving time. So I put label the following features with numbers. Okay, so I added the numbers right here, and now they just draw it. So that's a lot more fun to draw it. And they can add, they know how to do text boxes on draw feature as well if they really wanted to and they don't want to actually draw the numbers. But I made it a lot easier and more visually appealing, especially to this one. I decided not just to do my little text box up here, but I was like, you know what, let me do some word art. So it's kind of pretty up there. You can also change the background, which is really nice. If you right click and then add change background, it's not so boring in the back. So you can, and what I like is to do gradients, and there's gradients that are already there, or you can customize your gradient and change it. So let's see, we can put that back there. It's kind of dark. We got dark letters. I like to go brighter sometimes to bring in some of the key features. Even I could even go even that color. And then if I like, well, I kind of like that one, but I want some transitions in my colors. I like sunsets. So you can do radial, top left, and I like to add kind of like a sunrise right there. And so it gives that color right in here. And then you can also add a little bit more up there. Touch this guy right here and add a little bit more orangey if you want it to change, or maybe you wanted it darker than that. You can go darker, and you see it makes it look like it's a sunrise. Okay, so it actually added it to the whole screen, so you can't see the transition back here because the map is blocking it, but do you see how it looks like that? That's kind of cool. So if you want to do that to background slides, you can also change the color. So I'm all about visually appealing and saving time. So hopefully you watch this and you got something out of it. You can add, see, I changed this to countries with letters and then cities with numbers. That way I can easily distinguish between the two when they label it, and they can as well when they get to the political map. And then my last slide, I'm not done creating it yet, but basically I'm just going to let them know that they can come check in with me. And my final slide, check in with me this Thursday. I'm going to repeat this right here. Come check in with me Thursday or Friday. And after they've done labeling it, then we can actually have a class discussion about these locations, and I can let them engage in the conversation, even probably do a flip grid on it, because I want them to get really comfortable with being able to learn from a distance and feel like they can be themselves. Thank you for listening and staying in tune, or tuned in. Yeah, tuned in sounds better. To my first Screencastify that I'm going to share with the public. Thank you.